Yeah, and for sure, especially what occurred after the last game. When we drew, I thought I should have shot that one. So for a minute, kind of kept me up at night a little bit. So when he said I could drive it, I was just hoping Avery wouldn't be mad at me.
We've run it. We've run it before. I had used the other one, the play before, and so we just wanted to get it into Evan's hands, and then Avery had an option off of a single pin down after Marcus Thornton had curled his guy to try to create a little bit of havoc. But Avery has scored off that play against Denver to win, or to big shot late. He scored off that play against somebody else, big shot late, and then Evan has the option to drive. And I knew when I told Evan he had the option to drive, I knew that he was not probably going to get rid of the ball. I thought he was going to try to take it and make a play.
Celtics pull off an incredible comeback. Evan Turner hits a game winner as the Celtics beat the best team in the NBA in the Atlanta Hawks. They win 89-88 for their first win over the Hawks this year, I guess. This is the Garden Report, powered by lynda.com on CLNS Radio and Celtics Blog. All right, we're going to break this one down here. We got Julian Edlow. We got Jimmy Toscano on the ones and twos.
Yeah.
I'm Jared Weiss. We're going to make this really quick here because I know you got a lot of all-star festivities to get to. So, Celtics, they were terrible most of this game. Couldn't shoot. They were shooting 24% in the first half. Not a ton better in the second half here, but at the end of the game, they hit some huge shots. Marcus Smart hits a huge tray. I still can't hear because of the ringing in my ears from the crowd going wild after that one. And then Avery Bradley hits one, and then Evan Turner with a floater behind the back to get around DeMarre Carroll, hits that floater over Kent Bazemore. An unbelievable sequence of events here. Jimmy, take us through that last play there.
Well, Evan Turner is, I think, one of the best on the team at getting to the rim. He's not, I wouldn't call him a great ball handler, but when he's getting to the rim, he's got some quick moves. He said before the game that if there was a all-star layup competition, that he might be in that. And we all laughed it off, but I'm thinking to myself, after I'm watching that play, like, he might be onto something here. Like, pretty strong move to the rim. That technically was option A. It sounded like Brad Stevens said that there was a play to Bradley if he was open, and Bradley may have been open, but Turner wanted to keep it. I like Turner with the last shot in the game. I've been saying that all year, that he's a guy, whether it's him or Sully, I want one of those two guys with the ball in their hands at the end of the game. So I was completely happy with the way that entire thing panned out. Avery Bradley a rushed shot, contested shot, isn't really my cup of tea. So I was cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great win. It was the best win of the year. Talk about pulling one out of nowhere. They had no business. The Celtics had no business winning this game. As Jared said, they shot 24% in the first half. They finished off shooting 32.3% for the game. That was 30 for 93.
They took 15 more shots than the Hawks. That's the only reason they won this game.
Yeah, that's why they won the game. But, I mean, to find a way to be down all game against the best team in the Eastern Conference, maybe the NBA, Jared, to find a way to come back and win that game, those two huge threes, the floater by Evan Turner, that was a huge win that said a lot for them going into the break.
Okay, for one, the Hawks have been the best team in the NBA as far as I'm concerned.
They're still number one on my power rankings.
Yeah,
so I gave it to you, but you made it sound like it was fact.
It's a little bit of fiction here, but it's pretty close.
It's
the records are almost identical. They're starting 5, just one player in the month. So right now I'm giving the Hawks the edge.
One giant player.
Yeah, the Warriors are probably going to beat them if they met in the series anyway. But I mean, the Hawks were not spectacular in this game. Al Horford is really the only guy in the entire game that was actually efficient, was actually really good start to finish. But the Celtics, they just kind of struck when they needed to. Marcus Thornton comes in, starts the second half. He hits a couple threes that kind of gets them going here. And then they go with Marcus Smart in the fourth quarter, and Smart was phenomenal. He had that huge three there that really made it a one-possession game. They lost it, but then Bradley got it back, hitting another three right after that. But it was amazing of the Celtics, who haven't really been able to consistently respond at the end of games this year. Tonight, they actually got it done.
No, and Marcus Smart, I mean, he had an awful first half. Brad Stevens said just as much. He said he played bad in the first half. He was benched to start the second half. For him to come on in the fourth quarter the way he did says a lot about him. I mean, a lot of guys I think would maybe just pout after that, or they would let that bother them and affect them. But no, he comes into the game with just under 4 minutes left. He hits that backdoor layup, which was a nice pass. Yep. I forget who made the pass, but it was maybe Turner. And then he hits that three. He scored 5 straight points and made a two-point game. I was impressed by that. The Hawks, like you said, they didn't play great, and it was weird to me after the game. It almost felt like Brad Stevens wasn't giving his team like any credit at all for beating the Hawks. He was basically saying how bad they played and how bad the Hawks played was the only reason the Celtics beat them. He's like, oh, I don't know how. I hope we were a reason that happened, but
had a good
I'm
poker
not so
face
sure.
after the game.
Yeah, he wasn't like very complimentary of his players or his team, which I don't know. Take that however you want it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Smart that I liked, we're going to talk playoffs later, but for the most part, wins and losses aren't completely what this season is about. So the thing that I like the most is Smart got open for that three. There was a double team on the other side of the court. He kind of moved away from it, got open, and then called for the ball, stepped into the shot with a lot of confidence. Yeah. That's what I like to see from Marcus Smart, the willingness to take and make a big shot. That's what I think this game said most about him, that after having a poor game, he was able to do that, and that's just part of the learning process, the growing process. So I thought that was good to see from him.
Yeah, I mean, he was 1 for 5 from 3 in the first half, so for him to take that shot and, drain it was big.
And what we saw in the fourth quarter was he was actually driving to the rim. I mean, he's been allergic to the paint a lot of the time. He had one play where he tried to dunk it jumping from outside the paint. He only got about halfway there before he got fouled. I don't think he was going to even make it to the rim. No. But the fact that he's showing that kind of aggressiveness late in the game, it shows that he wants to be one of the guys that's really the go-to guy, even though Solinger said that they don't want to have that. I mean, come on, you need to have that. You need a guy to catalyze your offense at the end of the game. Marcus Smart is showing that he's going to be capable of doing that sometime soon, whether it's when the Celtics are trying to make a playoff run at the end of the season remains to be seen, and we'll get into that in the next part. But just before we go to the next part, do either of you have something else you want to say about the way this game went down at the end?
No, just the fact that a lot of times they do make these big comebacks and they come up short. It was nice to see them actually finish it off.
No, Jimmy has nothing to say, but here's what he wants to say. I'm all set. We're good.
That's it. Part 2 coming right up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it says a lot about my team trusting me and everything like that, and playing super hard in that situation. And, you have to, gain your teammates' trust and stuff. So, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, and that's a big compliment.
Enjoy your break.
He hit that big three.
Good game, Sully.
Appreciate it, G.
Let's get a win for the break, boy.
All right.